It's been a while since I last made a Winx Club video, and with the recent leaks about the anticipated reboot, I've been reflecting on the series' journey. The reboot looks somewhat promising, but I can't help feeling a bit skeptical. After all, can you really blame me? When was the last time we truly got some great Winx content? Now, I don't want to be one of those annoying nostalgic fans who can't move past the early seasons and I need to touch grass, blah blah blah. I genuinely enjoyed seasons 4, 5 and 6. Despite their major flaws, they were fun in their own way, but it quickly became clear that in the later seasons, the writers had forgotten what made Winx Club truly great.
I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you!
All of the clever writing kind of just flew out of the window and was replaced by redundant character arcs, plot holes, and sometimes straight up uninteresting storylines. Season 5, whilst entertaining, took some strange turns and undid much of what the first 3 seasons had established. Seasons 6, 7 and 8 didn't fare much better, and even World of Winx, which had potential, was cut short. And yes, I am still a hater till this day. Justice for World of Winx. And then there's Fate the Winx Saga. Yeah, we don't talk about Fate the Winx Saga at all. Yeah, no. It dawned on me that the last truly great season of Winx Club was season 3. Sure, the first 3 seasons have their own plot holes and continuity errors and their flaws, but at their core, they represent the golden era of Winx. Which season you prefer ultimately comes down to personal taste. For me, season 1 is a go-to comfort watch, and season 2 is criminally underrated. But when it comes to season 3, it's an absolute banger. There is no denying that season 3 of Winx Club stands out as the strongest season in the series. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the one and only, your girl, the cartoon hotspot, and in today's video, if you haven't already guessed, I'm going to be unraveling what makes season 3 the best season of Winx Club. If you're interested in my thoughts, then stick around, give this video a thumbs up, and click that bell button for post notifications. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So to recap, Winx Club Season 3 begins with the return of Valtor, a powerful sorcerer who was once an ally of the Ancestresses, the 3 witches responsible for the destruction of Bloom's home planet, Domino. Freed from the Omega Dimension by the Tricks, Valtor set out to conquer the magical dimension by stealing the magical powers of various realms, including Celeria and Andros, to enhance his strength and influence. At the start of the season, Headmistress Ferraganda informs the Winx that this academic year will be their most challenging yet, as they must achieve their final fairy form, Enchantix. And this transformation is not just a power-up, but a rite of passage that can only be earned through the acts of bravery and self-sacrifice, often tied to saving someone from their home realm. Meanwhile, Bloom discovers that Valtor is directly connected to her past, having played a role in the downfall of Domino and the disappearance of her birth parents, Oratel and Marion. And this revelation makes her conflict with Valtor deeply personal, as she seeks not only to stop his reign of terror once and for all, but also to uncover more about her origins and reclaim her lost heritage. Think of a season of television as a living, breathing organism. The narrative structure is like the skeleton. It's the bare bones that hold everything together. No matter how well you write a character arc, how engaging your storylines are, or how many captivating twists you include, if the structure of a season is weak, everything else falls apart. Just like a body without a strong skeleton, the season would lack support and cohesion. Character development could fall flat, storylines might feel rushed, and ultimately the audience may struggle to emotionally invest in what's happening. Whilst Winx Club Season 3 does have its flaws here and there, overall I would say the narrative structure is rock solid, providing a great framework to flesh out the characters and storylines. This well-crafted structure ensures that every arc is given the time it needs to develop, allowing the audience to connect with the characters and become deeply invested in the unfolding drama. It's this strong foundation that makes Season 3 such a standout, as it allows all the other elements like character growth and plot twists to shine. Season 3 of Winx Club is structured around a central, overarching narrative, Valtor's relentless quest for power. The narrative structure of Season 3 overall is well executed and paced, allowing the audience to emotionally invest in every storyline. The storylines are carefully spaced out rather than clumped together, giving each its moment to shine. The writers demonstrate a keen understanding of when to pause and let the audience absorb a major story beat, and when to capitalize on the momentum of the narrative. A prime example of this is how Bloom's Enchantix transformation is delayed until later in the season. This decision heightens the stakes. Valtor is growing more powerful, stressful, and Bloom faces immense personal challenges. First of all, she's dealing with the revelation of Valtor's history with her parents. She's also dealing with the emotional toll of Tekna's sacrifice and the betrayal of Sky, who's under Diaspora's spell. By this point, Bloom has nearly lost everything, including the hope of earning her Enchantix, which makes her eventual transformation incredibly impactful. In Winx Season 3, it never feels like one storyline is less relevant than the other. Each arc is beautifully tied together, flowing seamlessly into the next, and each storyline is integral to the overarching plot. The narrative is smartly divided into well-paced mini-arcs. Episodes 1 to 4, let's call it the Mirror of Truth arc, kicks off the season, revealing key insights into Stella's character. And this is followed by the Andros arc, which is episodes 5 to 7, which delves into Aisha's efforts to protect her home world. In the Dark Sky arc, which is episodes 8 and 9, Sky faces corruption and brainwashing. And we don't see him until episode 15, I believe. But by then, Bloom has gone to Pyros, and it's not a question of when she'll come back, but rather if she'll come back. So there's even greater stakes, and the audience actually kind of feels bad for Sky and Bloom. And next we have the Farraganda arc, which is episodes 10 to 12, and it pits the headmistress against Valtor, and then she ends up getting turned into a tree, and the Winx have to break her out of that spell before it's too late. And then the stakes escalate in the Omega arc, episodes 13 to 17, beginning with a powerful mid-season finale where Tekna sacrifices herself to protect Andros and the Omega Dimension. And this arc is pivotal, marking a turning point in the season's intensity. Unfortunately, I do think that the first half of season 3 is way stronger than the second half of season 3, but hey, you win some, you lose some. And then we have the Battle for the Realms arc. I'm just gonna call it that because I really don't know what else to call it, which is episodes 18 to 24. And it starts off with the Winx going to the Golden Kingdom to get the Water Stars, and it leads to the ultimate confrontation between the Winx and Valtor, setting the stage for the anticlimactic final battle, which is episodes 25 and 26. I say anticlimactic because unpopular opinion, or maybe not unpopular opinion, but I really do feel like out of the first 3 seasons of Winx Club, season 3, although the strongest overall, has the weakest finale. We had a great finale in season 1, although a little bit slow, a really great finale of season 2, like super great, and then season 3's finale was just kind of meh. Like, we started off so well with season 3 and it just kind of goes a little bit downhill, just ever so slightly. But like I said, you win some, you lose some, you can't win them all. In the heart of any great series comes great characters, and Winx Club is no exception to that. Season 3 of Winx sees our beloved characters undergo some more development. So let's start off with our fiery protagonist, Bloom. In season 3, Bloom's journey is deeply intertwined with her struggle to achieve Enchantix, and this challenge is reflective of her ongoing battle with imposter syndrome, a struggle that has followed her since the first season. Although Bloom's imposter syndrome was more pronounced in season 1 when she first discovered her powers and heritage, you can tell it's something that she still struggles with even in season 3 as she faces increasingly difficult trials. And then you realize her imposter syndrome stems from her deep fear of being alone, a fear that is exasperated by her status as the last living heir to the throne of Domino. With her home planet destroyed and her family lost, Bloom carries the weight of her legacy on her shoulders, making her feel isolated despite the support of her friends. This fear of isolation becomes more pronounced as she struggles to earn her Enchantix. While her friends begin to achieve their final fairy form, Bloom finds herself unable to do so, which intensifies her feelings of inadequacy and doubt. Her imposter syndrome is vividly depicted in her nightmares, where she envisions her friends taunting her, telling her that she will never become a fully fledged fairy. And these nightmares are not just a reflection of her fears, but also a manifestation of her belief that she might never live up to the expectations placed upon her as the heir of Domino. Facing Valtor, who is responsible for the destruction of Domino and the loss of her parents, represents a direct confrontation with the cause of her isolation and fear. Valtor is not just a powerful enemy, he embodies everything that Bloom has lost and everything that she fears she can never reclaim. Bloom's eventual transformation into Enchantix is therefore incredibly impactful because it represents more than just a power-up. It symbolizes her overcoming the very fears that have held her back. When Bloom finally achieves Enchantix, it is not through the traditional means of sacrifice that the other girls experience, but through sheer willpower and determination. This moment signifies that Bloom's true power lies within her, not just in the dragon flame or any external source. It's about reclaiming her identity and realizing that she doesn't need to to fit into a predefined mold to be powerful or worthy. Bloom is honestly one badass. Like, I have to give her her tens. Bloom, they can never make me hate you. Another character that goes through significant growth is Stella. This season challenges Stella to confront her insecurities, responsibilities, and her relationship with her family, pushing her to evolve into a more mature and self-assured character. One of the central arcs in season 3 is Stella's relationship with her father, King Gradius. As her father prepares to remarry, Stella is initially excited about the prospect of having her family reunited. However, when she discovers that her father's fiancée is in fact Countess Cassandra and is manipulating him under Valtor's influence in an attempt to usurp Stella's rightful place, she's forced to take a stand, which reveals Stella's fears of being replaced or overshadowed, both as a daughter and as a princess. These fears are brought to the forefront when Cassandra and Chimera curse Stella, turning her into a monster. This physical transformation strips Stella of her beauty and symbolically of her sense of identity. For a character who has always been defined by her looks and her royal status, this is a devastating blow. The curse pushes Stella to confront her deepest insecurities and fears about her self-worth, forcing her to grapple with the loss of the very thing she believes makes her valuable to others. As Stella navigates this crisis, she begins to understand that her true value lies not in her appearance or royal title, but in her character, loyalty, and the strength of her friendship. This journey of self-discovery allows Stella to see herself the way others see her, as someone who is not just pretty, but also an amazing friend, a brave fairy, and a capable leader. And this storyline comes full circle in episode 19, where Stella finally confronts Chimera and Cassandra. By this point, Stella has gained her enchantix and her confidence, but more importantly, she has gained self-acceptance and an understanding of her true worth. When she defeats Chimera, she delivers a powerful line to her.
For your information, a title doesn't make a princess.
This moment signifies that Stella has moved beyond her previous insecurities. She has come to understand that being a princess, and more importantly, being a person of value, requires more than just beauty or status. It requires courage, kindness, and integrity. Aisha really stands out this season as well. She's the first to earn her enchantix, which is a big deal. What makes her journey so compelling is that she faces her biggest fear, darkness, when Valtor blinds her. Despite this terrifying challenge, Aisha chooses to sacrifice her sight to save Queen Legeia, which shows just how brave and selfless she is. And this moment not only earns her enchantix, but also highlights her determination to protect Andros, her home planet. Aisha's never give up attitude even inspires her father to keep fighting for their world, showing just how much of a leader she's becoming. And then there's Tekna, who has a defining moment when she closes the Omega portal. Tekna's often seen as the most underrated member of the Winx, so having her be the one to close the portal really emphasizes that every member of the group is important. But after she gets stuck in the Omega dimension, the show kind of drops the ball on exploring what that experience must have been like for her. She's rescued in episode 17, but we don't get much insight into the trauma she must have faced being trapped there. Just think about it. The Omega Dimension is an ice prison for the most dangerous convicts in the magical dimension, and let's assume she was there isolated for anywhere between 2 weeks and an entire month. And with each passing day, she's losing hope of her friends ever finding her. And you want to convince me that by the time she's rescued, she's just okay? Like, not affected whatsoever? No, absolutely not. That girl would have definitely experienced a bit of trauma. It just feels like a missed opportunity to dive deeper into her character. And on the flip side, Flora and Musa don't get as much attention this season, which is a bit of a letdown because they did have a lot of development in the previous season. So it's disappointing to see them kind of pushed into the background here. Yikes. Well, all in all, Winx Club Season 3 does a great job of developing characters like Aisha, Tekna, Stella, even Timmy and Bloom. It just stumbles a bit by not giving Flora and Musa the attention that they deserve. With a great season, there is a great villain. And we love villains around here because villains are the core of conflict. And the absence of conflict is the absence of a story. So without a great villain, there is no story. But luckily, Winx Season 3 has a great villain, so there is a story. You caught that, right? Yeah. Anyways, Valtor is truly an exceptional villain in Winx Club due to his deep connection to the series lore, his strategic intelligence, and psychological complexity he brings to the story. Created by the ancestral witches, Valtor isn't just another antagonist. He embodies the very forces that led to the destruction of Bloom's home planet, Domino, which makes his conflict with her intensely personal. His intelligence and strategic brilliance set him apart from other villains. He doesn't rely solely on brute force, but on manipulation and deception, manipulation and psychological warfare. Valtor's ability to manipulate those around him, including the tricks, and to exploit the weaknesses of his enemies demonstrates his cunning and makes him a formidable foe. Understanding that Bloom's dragon flame makes her incredibly powerful, Valtor wisely avoids direct confrontation. Instead, he targets her emotionally by exploiting her love for Sky. Valtor manipulates Diaspra's bitterness towards Bloom, giving her a potion that causes Sky to turn against Bloom, striking at her emotional core. And this tactic isn't an isolated incident. Valtor also capitalizes on the personal grudges of others to weaken the Winx. He convinces Chimera and Countess Cassandra, who harbor intense jealousy and disdain towards Stella, to place a spell on King Radius, turning him against his daughter. Valtor's opening of the Omega portal, leading to the destabilization of Andros, is also a calculated move. He understands the emotional devastation that any outcome would have caused. Regardless of what would have happened, it still would have been a loss for the Winx. Now, of course, the loss in question is Tekna's sacrifice. Though not anticipated by him, he uses it to push the Winx into seeking revenge, something that they've never done before. But what else makes Valtor stand out from the rest of the antagonists in Winx? Valtor exudes an air of quiet confidence that makes him all the more menacing. His ability to remain composed in the face of adversity allows him to manipulate situations and people with chilling precision. Valtor's calmness gives him an unsettling edge, as it suggests that he's always one step ahead, calculating his next move, while his opponents are left scrambling. This calculated approach to villainy makes Valtor particularly dangerous, because it's not just about raw power, although he has plenty of that, make no mistake, but about how he uses his intellect to outmaneuver the Winx. Valtor's calmness is not just a superficial trait, it's a manifestation of his deep-seated belief in his superiority and destiny. He sees himself as a being above others, created by the ancestral witches to wield immense power, and this belief fuels his confidence. However, this also makes his eventual breakdown significant. The juxtaposition of his earlier composure with his later desperation adds a bit of depth to his character. Unfortunately, I do think this depth isn't really explored and is left a little too late in the season, and this is one of the few flaws of season 3. In the last couple of episodes in the season, the cracks in Valtor's confidence start to show. The pressure of facing potential defeat leads Valtor to act more erratically, abandoning his calculated approach in favor of more desperate and reckless actions, such as releasing the spell of the elements. But there's a line that's particularly intriguing and is never really expanded upon. The series just kind of brushes past it and expects us to just, never wonder what he meant by that. In episode 26, the ancestral witches taunt Valtor for failing his mission and even threaten that they will take away his powers.
It's time for you to return to the flame!
I will never return! You make me from this fire!
Valtor's remark about not wanting to go back to the flame is a significant insight into his character. Valtor was created by the ancestral witches using the dragon flame, the source of all magical energy in the universe. For Valtor, the dragon flame is both a symbol of his creation and a potential prison, a place where he could be forced to return, losing his autonomy and power. The flame represents everything Valtor has sought to escape: subjugation to a greater force and a loss of control. In this moment, Valtor's fear kind of humanizes him, revealing that despite his immense power and confidence, he is haunted by the same fear of powerlessness that he has instilled in other people. It's actually kind of genius. His villainy is not just about conquest, but also about a desperate fight to maintain his existence and autonomy. There are other great characteristics of Winx Season 3, but I feel like they were too small to dedicate an entire video chapter to. For example, the Enchantix transformation, which represents the girls growing up. I feel like Enchantix really ticks off all of the boxes for what a great transformation should be. It has a beautiful soundtrack, my personal favorite being the fairy dust music. Each girl has their individual sense of style through their designs, and when you think about Enchantix, it's really dark. I was never the same when I read a comment somewhere that Flora actually drowned when saving Miele, but the Black Willow reversed time and she was granted her Enchantix. Also, Stella most likely got burned because she literally jumped in front of a fire-breathing dragon when she saved her father. Like, Enchantix adds a whole new level of stakes to the story. It entails the girls sacrificing themselves, and to me it represents them earning the right to be fully fledged fairies. Being a fairy is about protecting people, even if it means at the expense of your own life. And you have to be willing and ready to do it, which all of the girls were. Another great characteristic of the season is the world building. We see Solaria, Andros, the Omega Dimension, Lymphia, and various kingdoms that Valtor steals magical spells from, like Oppositors. And I think it was really cool to see. These locations are not just pretty settings, but they're tied to the history and balance of the magical universe, revealing the interconnectedness of different magical forces. They also provide a fresh challenge for the Winx. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Season 3 truly is a gem, and you really just had to be there to witness this. I know I definitely was. Like, I was seated. You get my point. But as always, I want to put it to you guys. What do you think of season 3? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as for today, that's it from me, and I'll see you again next time.